Alrighty, we are live. Hello and welcome to Fantasy Premier League, the D in its journey. It's Alan is back with me after what feels like, I think it's been a good couple of weeks, hasn't it now?
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's been ages. It felt like ages. I know you've had a lot of stuff going on, birthdays, and I've been away and stuff. So it's good to be back.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like it's what have you been doing in your time off? Like much been going on, or what?
Playing a lot of golf, doing a lot of camping. There's been lots of other stuff to do with like work and things like that. But it's all settling down now, which is good. And we're coming into a really nice period of Christmas and getting all excited for that. And lots of socialising, lots of pub action and catching up with people. So
I love it. There's nothing wrong with a bit of pub action.
No, exactly. And do you know what? That'll be you soon.
It will be. I will be. If there anyone that's interested in, I will be in the UK in exactly a month's time. I will be there on the home soil, the UK soil. I'll be there, and it should be good fun. I actually can't wait to do a couple of live shows in person, and I can't wait to go and watch a football. I'm locked in. I've got a ticket to the Bournemouth game at home at Old Trafford, so I'm very excited for that, and I'm hoping to get a Newcastle one as well for the 30th of December with a little bit of luck as well. So that's something to look forward to in terms of the football as well. Now, Alan, talk us through your team.
It's a shame there's not a Man United Palace game on.
I know, how good would that be? He'll be mad. They'd be mad, but yeah.
That would have been so good. Right, what's going on for my team? Well, a lot of injuries, and I think probably there's going to be some changes for me coming up in terms of what I want to do. I mean, I tell you what, why don't you tell me what you think of my team?
All right, I'm just going to quickly switch over the view here, so everyone just bear with us 1 second while I change to the correct screen with some luck. This is hopefully going to do that. And 3, 2, 1. Yes, I've gone on the right screen. Fantastic. All right, so I pull up Alan's team here for everyone that is watching along. And as we can see here, your team got the exact same amount of points as mine last game week. You got 55. I also got 55.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad in terms of the sort of the point spread as well. You know, I was quite happy. I was quite happy with the points that I got. In terms of, you know, the people that got them, I went against Salah again. I know that everything said logically to captain Salah, and that would have really helped my team. But I thought at the moment I'm going to take the risk. Yeah, I'm going to take the risk and go with Haaland because I thought the majority of people are going to captain Salah. So if Haaland does get a haul because it's been a few weeks for him, then that will rocket me up. So look, done the risk, probably missed out on 15 points, but it's not the end of the world. I still had him in my team, so that was okay. Robertson was nice at 8 points.
Yep.
And Raul bringing him in and getting 5 for him was okay, and Bomo's pretty solid. But, you know, there's just a spread of other people that have just not really been high scoring, like Justin. Gahey's done all right recently, so I'm not going to complain too much about him. But, like, Justin and Jackson, again, like, he only got a couple of points. Garnacho, though, great pick.
Goal off the bench, baby. Goal off the bench.
Well, I've always liked him. Like I do like him in terms of Man United players. He's like my favourite. I think I've always liked Garnacho. So I'm happy with him. But yeah, I need to look at like the Dunk situation. I think he's going down in price, and Greaves and Rodgers and things like that. Yeah, and I might even have a look at my goalies as well because Arsenal have not been that great. They've conceded a few times now, so I might just look at Raya.
Look, I don't mind your draft at all. I mean, like the Raya pick is not the worst. I think there's definitely been he's not in my team at the moment because I'm on wildcard, so I've tried to make some money here by picking people that I think are going to rise, but I don't think the goalkeeper's going to rise. So, but I am hoping that Raya potentially might drop 0.1 mil between now and game week 12 deadline, and if that happens, then I'll be laughing because I'll be able to sell him at 5.6 and bring him back at 5.5. So it's one of them tactical tweaks I've been working on, man. I've been like trying to hustle. Unfortunately, at the moment, no one seems to be going up the 0.2 I've been hoping for in my team, which is kind of annoying. and we'll get into like what I've looked at. So like Morgan Rogers as well, I've actually ditched him. Like I just don't think like I don't know why I've ditched him as well, because like when you look at the Aston Villa run coming up, it's actually not the worst run in the world. They've got Crystal Palace at home this week, then they've got Chelsea away, but then they've got Brentford at home, Southampton at home, Nottingham Forest away. It's not the worst run in the world, but I just think that there's better options that are going to score more points than him. And he's started to look a bit tired, a bit like a lot of the Aston Villa players with the European football. I think is catching up with him.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's just a lot of fixtures, like you say, it's just catching up with some of these players now. So, I mean, with Rodgers, when did you get rid of him last week?
Well, during Wildcard, so I've just shipped him out because I figured, like, because I bought him at 5.1. So he's currently 5.4. He's not going to go up to 5.5. So I've sold him for 5.2. So I've made 0.1 million on him over the time he's been in my team. And I just, as I say, I don't really like the Aston Villa run coming up. Like, I know that they just look tired and they haven't been playing as well. And I'm just, I think there's better options.
Do you think that Aston Villa have the depth of squad to be able to deal with all the fixtures?
No, I don't. I think eventually they're going to get injured and they're going to run out of gas. Is my personal opinion. Yeah.
It's that risk. It's that risk, isn't it? When you get, when you start playing all these fixtures, you're a victim of your own success in a way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'll tell you one play that I was super happy to get rid of out of my team. Like, I haven't called many differentials wrong this season, but James Justin has spent 4 weeks in my team and got me 3 points in 4 weeks. Like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, it's shocking. I feel your pain. I've had him in as well. So
that was the one Doug call I've done like all season, like in terms of bringing, other than Dominic Solanke, and we'll get to Dominic Solanke in a little bit, because that man is never coming into my fantasy team again. Unless he's scoring like multiple hat-tricks in a row, he will never make his way back into the D-Units team.
Remember that Darius said that. Remember he said that. Because I guarantee we'll bring him in at some point. Who do you think's been your best, like, just looking back, who do you think's, from the start of the season, apart from maybe Wood, who do you think's been, like, your standout sort of person that you brought in, didn't expect much from, and actually scored you loads of points?
Oh, look, it's definitely Chris Wood. Dude has been unbelievable. He's delivered, in fairness, he's delivered 10 weeks of quality. He's now gone. Game week 11 is what I'm expecting from Chris Wood over the next month. Nothing. I'm expecting crickets from him. They've got a really tough run, and he is 100% leaving my team in this game week. I can't believe I'm saying it, but Chris Wood, the dream run of the Woody Woodpecker, is officially come to an abrupt halt for me. And the reason why, and like for anyone's wondering, like, I don't mind Nottingham Forest in terms of their defensive numbers, but they're not going to keep any clean sheets in the next few games. They've got Arsenal away. Ipswich at home I'm a bit concerned about, because I feel like Chris Wood at home to Ipswich, I wish that I could keep him for game week 13, but it makes perfect sense to just ditch him during the wild card, because then they've got Man City, Man United, Aston Villa, Brentford away, and then Spurs at home. How many goals is he realistically going to score there? He's not going to keep scoring at the rate he's been scoring, I think, and he's made me 0.3 million if I sell him now. So I think for me, it's a bit of a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think, the Woody Woodpecker has had his day. I think he's been fantastic for people like you that brought him in, that had that insight. Great price as well. And the fixture run coming up, it's going to be crickets. Like you said, it's going to be crickets. I like that saying. I'm going to use that.
Crickets, man. It's absolutely crickets. Now, the one man I want to talk about, so this is my team. So I scored the same amount of points as Alan, 55. I was unfortunate. Dwight McNeil sputtered it up when he had the Southampton fixture and didn't play, which was absolutely gutting. The West Ham fixture, my bad. He was playing West Ham. He did nothing. Absolute crickets there. And he was replaced by Morgan Rogers, who also delivered crickets, 1 point in his 50-odd minutes of game time. And I got it wrong. I should have done the 1 week punt of Dwight McNeil to Bruno Fernandes. If I'd done that, I wouldn't have captained Bruno, because I didn't like him as a captain choice, which meant I wouldn't have captained bloody Dominic Solanke, and I would have had Cunha or Mo Salah's points doubled. So either way, I would have been at least 10 points better off from that. And the Dwight McNeil to Bruno Fernandes trade would have made me an extra 16 points. I could have had like almost 90 points this game week if I'd gone a different 1 week punt last week.
Yeah, and do you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed that captaincy choice from you. And for those of you who haven't joined the WhatsApp, Darius, you'll need to share the details for it. But
yeah, it's in the link.
Please join me in trolling Darius every game week when things don't go his way.
It didn't. On the Saturday, I was actually pretty content. Like I saw Mo Salah, lots of people had captained him, double 14. They had the Cunha, and I was like, Cunha was my vice captain, and he was a solid captain choice as I predicted. No one could have predicted Dominic Solanke and Spurs would be that garbage at home to Ipswich Town, man. The Ipswich have like the highest XG conceded all season, and Spurs did Spurs things and just Spursed it up.
Yeah, they proper Spursed it up. 3-point lane.
I thought supporting United was hard, but supporting Tottenham must be an absolute horror show for their supporters. Like, I don't even know what to say. They're just crap. They're a crap football team, and Dominic Solanke needs to be deleted from my team.
That's very good. That's really cheered me up. Yeah, I hope there's no Tottenham supporters watching.
Yeah, I hope so as well. They probably unsubscribe. Look, I wasn't that disappointed with the rest of my team. The other obviously disappointing thing, like I've obviously held Trent Alexander-Arnold. He is gone for me on wildcard as well. I just can't justify spending $7 million on a player that just hasn't been delivering the attacking returns I thought he was going to at the start of the season. And look, it was disappointing because he would have kept the clean sheet, and he got subbed off after 26 minutes with an injury. So that was disappointing. It was a week of nearly beans. On Saturday night, I was sitting there going, oh my God, I've got Solanke to come, captain. That's looking good. I think I had who else played Sunday? Oh, Raya, Palmer, and I think it was Morgan Rogers or something like that playing on that Sunday. And I was like, oh, my rank is going to go through the roof here. Instead, it plummeted because Dominic Solanke just made a meal of it. I was on track to be like about 60, 70 top 1,000, and that one decision alone cost me. That's how tight it is in like the top 200,000 teams. A captain choice like Dominic Solanke is the definition between a red arrow and a green arrow.
Yeah,
red arrow for me. It's so annoying.
Massive. But you've had a good run. That's just the balance of the universe.
Yeah, man, it's unfortunate. But like that brings me to the wild card. I have played it this week, and that is because like I prior to this game week, I had 5.5 million sitting in the bank during game week 11 because I didn't want to take another -4 thinking I'll just play my wild card and I'll do it then. Ironically, I should have taken the -4 because then I could have got rid of Dwight McNeil for Bruno Fernandes and I'll be sitting here a much happier man. But
yeah, I mean, Fernandes scored a nice amount of points, didn't he?
The finance, man, he's looking good. He's looking back. 27 points in 2 game weeks now. That's crazy stuff. And he's got 2 easy fixtures to come as well.
Yeah. What do you think about Wissa? Wissa seems to be taking some of the points now from Burma. Don't you think?
Well, yeah, I am concerned about this. And there's a draft that I think is quite possible to do on Wildcard, which ditches Brian Mbeumo from your team. Now, the reason why I'm talking about Brian Mbeumo and saying that, he could be... it could be time to move him on. Like the next 2 fixtures are beautiful. They've got Everton away, Leicester at home. But then the run gets significantly harder. They've got Aston Villa, Newcastle, Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, Brighton, Arsenal before they have Southampton. And then after Southampton, they've got Man City and Liverpool. It's not an easy run. And I don't think he's going to keep delivering returns against all those teams.
No, I think he might be a similar one to Wood. Like he's a decent, he's a solid player. He's good for points and for the price. But I think you're right. I think 2 game weeks and then look to get him out the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, he's at that weird price because obviously I bought him at like what was it 7? I think what is he worth on my team? I have to have a look in a second. Let's go to.
I'm sure it was 6. I'm sure it was like 6 something.
Yeah, I bought him for 7. All right, so he's at 7.9 at the moment, and I can sell him for 7.5. So I must have bought him in at 7.1, which is insane. That's such good value. Like, he's made me so much money. But, like, he's at
Yeah.
7.5 now. That's a very easy swap to Jared Bowen when West Ham finally hit some form. He's exactly the same price. You don't have to... And if you want to go a little bit technical, you can spend an extra 0.7 million to get in Martin Odegaard from Arsenal, which I really like as a bit of a differential pick, because not many people are bringing in Martin Odegaard, and I think that he's very integral to the Arsenal team, which is why they haven't been playing very well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. But do you think, I mean, obviously he's coming back from injury, so do you think he's going to take a couple of weeks to get going, or do you think he's just going to smash it straight out of the game?
He played the full 90 against Chelsea, and he got the assist, obviously, in that game. He got 7 points, which was obviously his first return of the season. But yeah, I mean, like, he's obviously working on his fitness. He didn't link up with the international team during the international break. So you would think that he's likely to hit the ground running and start from the start against, who have they got this week, Arsenal? I think they've got Nottingham Forest at home. I can't see Nottingham Forest scoring, so I think that the Arsenal defence are finally going to deliver some clean sheets, hopefully, this week.
Yeah. And what about Forest's defence? Forest have been good.
They
so
have,
do you think they'll be...
but Newcastle scored three at the City Ground like last week. Like 3-1, came from behind. Newcastle looked good. Isaac scored his third goal. No, was he third goal or fourth goal in 4 games? Third goal in 3 games. My bad. So he's hit some form. Isaac's now doing what we all expected at the start of the season. And he's risen in price. He's up to 8.5 now. He's back to his starting price. I bought him in at 8.4 on Wildcard, just in the event that I want to go with an Isaac draft. Now, this is my team at the moment, Alan, as you can see. I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but I've got Kelleher in goal with Fabianski. Kelleher will not be staying. He's literally there because I was hoping he has risen to 4.5. And I was hoping he was going to rise to 4.6 before the next game week, and so I could sell him for a 0.1 million profit. I don't think he's going to rise again, so I'm just going to get rid of him for another keeper. Fabianski's obviously in for Turner, because that seems to be the best 4 million goalkeeper considering he's actually playing. At the moment, I've obviously ditched James Justin and Trent Alexander-Arnold and FaZe from Leicester. I've just ditched Leicester defence because they just look crap. And I saw enough against Man United to know that they're crap. So I bought in Lewis Hall from Newcastle. Newcastle's fixture run coming up. It looks pretty delicious. The West Ham at home, Crystal Palace away. Then they've obviously got Liverpool at home, but then it's a very nice run of fixtures after that, all the way through to about game week 25 when they play Man City. So I really like the Newcastle run. So I've got Lewis Hall's probably going to stay in my team. I like him, and I think he's nailed on, and he's looking very attacking as well. Dallow's in here at the moment, but he's not going to be staying. He has risen in price, and I was kind of hoping that he might rise in price again, but especially with Ipswich and Everton games coming up, Man United's fixture run in general, I don't mind. Now that they've sacked Eric Ten Hag, Manchester United are back on the menu, baby, because I think they're going to start playing some better football. So they've got the only 2 difficult games really coming up. Arsenal away in 14, Man City away in 16, and then Liverpool away in 20. And everything else outside of them looks pretty damn good, which is why Bruno Fernandes is 100% staying in my team. I bought him in at 8.3 million. He's already up to 8.4. I would hazard a guess and say he will be up to 8.5 million by the time game week 12 deadline comes around. I'm pretty confident he's going to be 8.5. And it's already made me some money.
Talk us through your strategy then for making money. So are you saying that what you do is buy players, so activate your wildcard chip and then buy players cheap that are cheap but are going up in value, or players that are going to go up in value and then swap them all?
Yeah, so I obviously ditched the players that in my team I didn't have very much value in, and players that I know 100% I'm going to get rid of. So like Morgan Rogers, I'd already committed to getting rid of him. I think there's better options than him, both lower and both higher, particularly now that Manchester United have sacked Ten Hag. I think Amad Diallo is going to be a lock in that team, and he's only going to cost you 4.9 million instead of Morgan Rogers, who technically, if you bought him brand new now, will cost you 5.4. That's 0.5 saving there. In the defence, I've literally just picked players that I could tell are getting popular right now, like Virgil van Dijk, because of the fact that he's locked on, nailed for Liverpool. He is rising in price. Liverpool's defence just looks so good.
But do you think that's because people are getting rid of Trent and just swapping it for Virgil?
Yep, and they've also been swapping him for Canati. Originally, I wanted Canati as well, but somehow I must have been napping on him because he wasn't on my predictor, he didn't look like he was going to rise in price until probably today, but he's already risen to 5.4. So, yeah, I've just sort of ditched the idea of bringing him in for now. And I'll talk through a couple of my drafts as well and the reasonings behind it. And then obviously, like these yellow flags, like international breaks, are always so hard to gauge what's going on. So like 3 players in this team at the moment are yellow flag. Brian and Mbeumo pulled out of international duty. So did Semenyo, and so did Cole Palmer. So did Bakary Saka. The list goes on of the amount of players that have been withdrawn during the international break that you are going to have to pay attention to on Thursday and Friday this week to hear the news conferences from the managers, because, I mean, there's every chance that some of these players might actually miss. I don't think they will. I think it's just that standard dark arts nonsense, and they just withdraw to give themselves a bit of a rest. Yeah. So, look, I've got 4 different drafts to talk you through here for Wildcard, and some of them leave me money, and they're all substantially different in their own ways. So, as I said, Kelleher's just there as a price right. So, I'm going to go to the first tab here, and this is the first team I've put together. So, in this team, I've gone with expensive defenders. And I'll talk you through the team. So in goal, we've got David Raya staying in the team. And then Fabianski, obviously, that's going to be the goalkeeper regardless. Then in the defence, I've got Canade in here at 5.4. So I've got Canade from Liverpool, Virgil van Dijk from Liverpool. So that's double Liverpool defence. I've then got Gabriel from Arsenal. So the idea is you'd play a 3-4-3 in this formation, or 3-5-2 depending on the game week. And you'd have double Liverpool defence and double Arsenal defence, which in theory, 2 of the best defences in the league, your chances of scoring points from clean sheets in particular should be quite high. And then obviously I've got Lewis Hall and Ait-Nouri on the bench. So in the event that they do have a delicious fixture, like Wolves still have some delicious fixtures, so do Newcastle, then you can swap them in if you're running the risk of, Arsenal or Liverpool conceding a goal. They've got a tough game week or they play one of the top teams. You're probably going to ditch 2 of them and bring in Hall and Ait-Nouri instead. Now in the midfield, I've gone with I feel like it's a 4-man sort of structure. So I've got Bruno Fernandes with Mo Salah, Cole Palmer, Brian Mbeumo, and then I've got Semenyo as the enabler in here. So there's a couple of different ways of looking at it. And I think Brian Mbeumo is definitely a player you could move on. So you could drop a Semenyo, 5.6, because I've got 0.4 left in the bank here. So to get to Odegaard, I'd need 0.3. So you could drop Semenyo to like a 5.3 million midfielder. So Bonate or Ahmad or one of those other ones could be in the frame here, come in, because you're probably not going to play them unless they're actually popping off and in good form. Then up front, I've got Isaac from Newcastle, João Pedro from Brighton, and Cunha from Wolves. So that's still 0.4 million left in the bank. So that's one draft, but that's purely based on your defence getting you the points. And defenders this season have been bad.
Why João Pedro though?
Because the dude's only going to cost you 5.4 million, and Brighton have the best run of fixtures coming up through to about game week 37. Brighton's fixtures are no joke, man. They've only got Aston Villa 19 and 20 that are hard. Then they've got Chelsea in 25, Man City away in 29, and then you ditch them for the last 2 games of the season when they've got Liverpool and Spurs. Brighton players from here on out are fair game stayers in your team. And João Pedro's back. Obviously, he's on penalties, and the manager really likes him. The only reason why he's not higher and he's dropped in prices because obviously he played the first 3 game weeks, then got injured. And obviously, I'll take it back to the first 3 games of the season. He got 2 points, 8 points, and 8 points. So the dude was scoring, and then obviously he's come back in game week 11 off the bench for 25 minutes, and he got 1 goal and 1 assist and 3 bonus points for 11 points and 26 minutes out. That's why.
Right. Didn't he say when he scored, he was like, I'm back.
Something like that. He might as well say I'm back, man. He's back and he's definitely in my team. And then obviously I've got Cunha. So then depending on the fixtures, you'd sit there and you'd always play 3 defenders. But if there was a fixture where, you had a couple of rough games, you could actually play a 4th defender because Hall and Ait-Nouri are not defenders you don't want to be playing. You could reasonably actually field 4 defenders. But I just like the fact that you're relying on Arsenal and Liverpool to have good weeks more often than not. And that means if they have good weeks and they keep clean sheets, that's 24 points from your defence straight off the bat, which is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's not even countering for like bonus points. Now, hear me out here. So defenders have not been keeping clean sheets this season. Everyone knows this. And I think there's been a few weeks where there's been like one team keep a clean sheet for the week. I remember that week. It was Pedro Porro somehow keeping a clean sheet for Tottenham. God knows how that happened. And that was his last week of my team, I think, because Tottenham are just shit. I'm still not over Dominic Solanke just ruining my life. Any Spurs supporters out there, how do you support that team? They are a basket case of a club. I thought Man United were bad until I watched Spurs. And then I just realised that it's not actually that bad being a Man United fan. All right, so on to the second little draft here I've put together. So this one, as I said, talking about the Brighton players. And I've tripled up on Brighton here. So I've gone cheap in defence here, Alan, because guess who makes this draft? Erling Haaland is in this draft.
Wow, okay.
So there's no money left in here. So in this draft, I've got Verbruggen rotating with Fabianski in goal. I keep Robinson in my team, Veltman and O'Shea. O'Shea is Ipswich, and he seems to be playing every week, but he's never going to be lining up for me in this team. But he's the budget enabler to get in Haaland. So like Veltman's in here, Lewis Hall, Aït-Nouri, they all stay. Then in the midfield, I've got Bruno Fernandes, Mo Salah, Palmer, and Buemo. And then I've got Ahmad in. So as I said, I think Ahmad will definitely be picking up games and minutes for Man United. And I tell you what, if he plays anything like he did in the Europa League, he'll actually get you points from the bench as well. Then up front, you've got Erling Haaland, João Pedro, and Cunha. So it's not like it's a bad team. You're sacrificing a bit of midfield strength, maybe, or defensive strength in order to have Haaland. But that also then means that you've got an extra captain in your team that you can pick every game week. So I'm not sure. My mind was anti-Haaland, and it has been because obviously I've traded him out of my team and I've brought him back in this particular version of this draft. But I don't know. I just think that it's something worth looking at because his XG, no word of a lie, has actually been so good over the last few weeks. It's amazing he hasn't scored more goals. So against Brighton, he had an XG of 1.38. Southampton, he obviously had 2.33. Against Bournemouth, he had 0.88. Like, Wolves, he had nothing. But other than that, like the games he's blanked in, he's actually had decent XG. He just hasn't been scoring. But that can only last for so long. And eventually he's going to start banging them in.
Exactly. Look, exactly. And it's just, this is how fickle football is. You know, someone's a great player. Okay, yeah, the ball's not gotten in the back of the net, but just after a couple of games, then everyone just wants to write him off. Like, you can't do that. Like, you need to look at him over seasons. You know, like the guy's a machine, and he will come back. He will come back.
Oh, 100%. The man will definitely come back.
What it is we play this game weekly, so we've got the weekly mindset. You know, if you have 1, 2, 3 bad weeks, then it's like, right, you got to go, you know. And I think that's the thing with FPL.
And I think that's the thing. Like, people look back, like, so since game week 4, that was the last time Erling Haaland got a double point haul. So he obviously got 17, 17, 13, and then he got 9. And since then, it's pretty much been lean pickings. And to justify his price tag, he almost has to be scoring at least a goal or at least 2. He needs to be getting bonus points because if he needs a goal and a bonus points and the appearance points, which would give him 9 points minimum to make him worthwhile in your team. And if he's not getting 9 points, it's hard to justify his price tag still, I think. But it's interesting. So I think he hit a peak of like 75% ownership and he's dropped down now to 63.8. Like, that is a significant drop.
Well, it's just a value, isn't it? It's like you were saying about Trent earlier. It's like you've just got to be able to you've got to be able to justify the value with the points. And like you say, you've got someone with that. You know, if you look at Wood, you know, and how many points he was getting. You know, Haaland's like the price of 2 players. So if he's not getting you at least 5 points a week, then you're going to have to look at it, aren't you? So.
Z, we've just had a comment come in. So Z said, I love how we considered his form of 2 goals in 3 games. You're right. He's like 2 goals in 3 games for most men is pretty damn good. Except when we're talking about Haaland, it's not really very good, if you get what I mean. The dude's normally a goal a game kind of forward. Yeah, he's going to definitely be, like, that's the only reason why I'm talking about this draft here with Haaland in it. Because Haaland is now becoming a bit more of a differential because so many people have got rid of him. All of a sudden, if he does start popping off, and you've got him, you're going to see your rank go. You're going to be getting green arrows for days because the dude's going to like just haul your ass up the table. So I like that. So that's my second draft. Let's go to the third one I've cooked up. So in this one, I've got 0.1 million left over. This one, I have Robert Sanchez from Chelsea in goal, rotating with Fabianski. I've got Robinson in defence. Virgil van Dijk and Gabriel are both in there. So I've gone like with covering multiple teams here. And I've got Hall and Aït-Nouri still. And in this draft, I've gone super budget in the forward line. So I've got Vanderlisten in with João Pedro and Cunha. So like literally a bargain basement forward line. But they've all been capable of scoring points. But in this draft, I've got Bakary Saka in the midfield along with Mbeumo, Palmer, Mo Salah and Bruno Fernandes in like a 5-man midfield. I mean, all these drafts have their pros and cons.
I like this draft. I think Chelsea have got a good run coming up. And I think the Sanchez, he rotates well with Fabianski. But I just really like this draft, Darius. Oh.
I know. This one was cooking, man. When I did this one, I was like, oh, I don't mind this one.
Yeah. I like this one. This is one that I would go for.
Like and I don't mind this. Like Chelsea's run is pretty damn good. Like I've just pulled it up here for people watching. Leicester away. It's the beginning of the green starts right now. They've got Villa at home in 13, which I don't know if he'll keep a clean sheet there. But then they've got Southampton away, Spurs away. But then the run really gets cooking. Brentford, Everton, Fulham, Ipswich, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, Wolves. It doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah.
Cole Palmer's going to be captain in a lot of those games. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, I need to get him in. Priority time.
But yeah, I really like this one because obviously, you've got Saka, Palmer and Salah in there. I just feel like you're guaranteed at like 30 points pretty much every week with them combined, and then maybe 40 with one of them being your captain every week. I just really like it. And the way Bruno Fernandes has been ticking along as well, my God, he's been really good. So the fourth and final one I've got, I've made this one a little bit spicy, I think, from memory. So this one, I've gone cheap in defence again, but I've got Onana in goal this time. So Onana in goal from Man United because he is the best performing goalkeeper in the league at the moment. And he justified his inclusion in here. So in this one, I've got Onana and Fabianski rotating in goal. Now, I've still got Robinson, Aït-Nouri and Hall. They are consistently the defenders in each of these drafts. Then I've got Veltman from Brighton. And then I've got Kirkez from Bournemouth, who I think the positions they're taking up, the XG they're creating in their teams, I just like them as picks. And then I've also got a 5-man strong midfield here. So I've got Bruno Fernandes, Mo Salah, Cole Palmer, Brian Mbeumo, and Martin Odegaard is in instead of Bakary Saka. And then up front, I've even spent a bit of money here. So I've taken out of the defence, put it up front. I've got Isak in from Newcastle, Nicholas Jackson in from Chelsea, and Cunha in from Wolves. I mean, this team is like bursting with attacking potential.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I like the most. They all have their own merits. They all look good on paper. I've taken photos of each so I don't forget.
I do like it. I do like this one as well.
I just like Nicholas Jackson. I know that people sit there and go, he's on 4 yellow cards and, it could be really crap if he gets a yellow card against Aston Villa and then misses Southampton away. But I think that's a risk I'm willing to take because I just think that his numbers, if you have a look at his numbers he's been putting up, his XG involvement and stuff, he's on like 0.66 expected goal involvement per 90 minutes. That's insanely good. Like, you can't just overlook that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last one had a bit more spread because you had João Pedro in there. So I think the last one I like better.
The last one. So the one with Saka in it.
Yeah, I think the last one because Saka's in it. Yeah, I think this one. I think this one here. Is this the one?
Yeah, this is the one with Saka. And I'm intrigued to know if you guys have any ideas about what draft you prefer the best. So I'll just quickly go through them all again. So this is draft number 1. I am on wildcard, so I'll literally be going with one of these lineups. So draft number 1, heavily defensive orientated, double Liverpool, double Arsenal defense. You got Semenyo in as your enabler in the midfield with the 4 sort of premiums there. Then you've got Isak up front with a bit of a a premium there. The only reason why I like the draft with at least Isaac or someone like that up front is if I do want to bring Haaland back, it's 2 transfers to do it. If I go with 3 budget forwards, it then becomes a 3 transfer move to bring Haaland back into the team, which is why I prefer having a 1 more slightly expensive forward in the draft. So draft number 2, obviously that was the Haaland draft. So again, you are sacrificing your defense here. And you've obviously got O'Shea and Ahmad as real budget options there. But then you do get Erling Haaland, Mo Salah, Cole Palmer, Bruno Fernandes, and Brian Mbeumo all in your team. So got to keep that in mind. Then the third draft, the one that Alan really likes, is the one with Saka in the midfield, 5 premium midfielders, but then you're pretty much all budget up the top. So then, because obviously I'm going with Virgil and Gabriel in defence as well. So you've got to weigh that in. And then the last draft, we've got Isaac and Jackson both in the forward line. The midfield is a 5-man stack. And then again, you are skimping a bit out on the defence, even though I've got Anana in there in goal, which is a bit more of a premium sort of goalkeeper. I'm intrigued to know what people think. I legit don't know. I've been sitting there and you can tell how much effort I've put into this. Because last year I paid my first wild card and I stuffed it.
Yeah, for me, I like your draft 3. That was one I'll go for.
Draft 3. All right. I'll keep that in mind. So yeah, look, these are the things we want to talk about as well. So obviously the Arsenal run from here is really good. We just talked about the Chelsea run. The Arsenal run is super good as well. So this is what it sounds like. Nottingham Forest at home, West Ham away, Man United at home, Fulham away, Everton at home, Crystal Palace away, Ipswich at home, Brentford away, Brighton away. I mean, it's a pretty good run.
Yeah, that's why I think having Saka in there, and also when Odegaard being back, them two link up really well. So
I don't even mind Kai Havertz up front. I just think there's better forwards. I think Isaac and Jackson are in front of Havertz, but I really like Evangelisson. I've talked about this bloke. He's only 5.9 million and he's from Bournemouth. Now, the only problem I've got with him is that he doesn't play 90 minutes. He generally plays between anywhere from 65 through to 78. He's only played 190 minutes all season. But his expected goal involvement 0.59 per 90 minutes. And for a bloke that only cost you 5.9 mil, he's been pretty good. And look, he's scored 3 goals in the last 3 weeks. Against Aston Villa, Man City and Brentford, no less. So it's not like he's been versing crap teams either.
Yeah. Good choice. Good choice. I think what you should do is maybe keep pictures of all these teams and then work out after a couple of weeks which of your drafts would have got the most. Hopefully you chose the right one.
I agree. I should definitely do that. It's all going to be heavily influenced. The Haaland draft could blow all the rest out of the way if he starts going back on hat-trick runs. He'll literally just destroy teams again.
I need him to get back on those hat-trick runs. That's what I need.
But realistically, is he going to? I mean, they've got Spurs at home, and Spurs, obviously, as we've talked about previously, cannot defend to save themselves. They are just shit at defending a game of football. They just let the ball into their net. But they've got Spurs at home, then they've got Liverpool away, then they've got Nottingham Forest at home. It's not an easy run, those next 3 games. Then they've got Palace away, and now they've got Man United at home. Now, the Man United at home game, Alan, I want to talk about Man United. They are no longer an easy beat team, I don't think. I think you'll find...
Well, I don't know how to say that straight away. I think you need to wait a couple more weeks.
No, we've had the Ruud van Nistelrooy. Been coached by me for the last four games, and look what's happened. We haven't lost.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you're on an okay run at the moment. Let's see what happens over the next couple of weeks. I think before we start getting too ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Let's look. I mean, if Fernandes stays in form and you've got Garnacho and all these other things, then yeah, look, and you've got a great goalie at the moment. So look, Man United just need to do one thing, and that's get the ball in the back of the net. That's all they got to try and do at the moment. So if Fernandes stays in form, who do you think will be the top scorer then by the end of the season for Man United?
Bruno Fernandes, probably, or Ahmad. I reckon Ahmad at 4.9 million. You've heard it here first. He is going to pop off. I'm telling you, I called at the start of the season that if he got a run of games, and he started the season well, he scored, he obviously returned in 2 of the first 4 weeks before Eric Ten Hag did Eric Ten Hag things and just took him out of the team for no reason at all and started playing people that were slothful and had no clue what they were doing, like Joshua Zirkzee. So, I think they're going to pop off. I think Amarin, he's young, he's vibrant, he's 39, he's a year older than me. He's going to bring the team together. And this is an interesting stat for you, Alan. Bruno Fernandes did not score for Eric Ten Hag in all the games that he managed this season. As soon as Eric Ten Hag was sacked, which I'd been calling for all season, Bruno Fernandes has gone on a scoring purple patch.
Would you say that he done that deliberately then?
No, I just think that Eric Ten Hag was playing him in stupid positions where he wasn't getting anywhere near enough close to goal to actually do what he does best, and that's score and create goals.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I mean, look, you could be right. Let's see if it continues. He's a quality player, but I want to hold you to that Ahmad guy. Is he in? How many of your drafts is he in?
He's in one. He's in the one with Erling Haaland. If I go with Erling Haaland, Ahmad is 100% in the team because it's the only way I can afford to get Haaland in the team.
Right. Okay.
But look at his numbers. His stats don't lie. Well, they do lie. They aren't the best, but that is because of the fact that he just hasn't had the run of consistency. So expected goal involvement per 90 minutes is 0.32. So it's not horrible.
Well, you've got a couple of decent games coming up.
He does.
You've got Ipswich, you've got Everton. Let's see what they do over the next couple of weeks. And then you've got a bit of a tricky one with Arsenal.
I reckon we do Arsenal.
And
Aaron's going to win the league.
That'll be the decider. Look, what will happen if you get some good results against Ipswich and Everton, and then go into the Arsenal game and can hold at a draw, a 0-0 draw, or get a win, then I'll say okay, maybe Man United's on the up. If you can do that, because then you've got Forest, which you should win, and then the real challenge is Man City, which will probably pull your pants down. But let's see what happens.
I don't know, man. I think only Eric Ten Hag allowed himself to have his pants pulled down. Hey, you know what he's done though? He has brought in Anthony and Anthony for like 85 mil or whatever it was, and there was another one. I can't remember what the other one was. Like straight from Ajax. And then he's gone back to Ajax. He's literally made the club so much money, made himself so much money, and made Man United arguably shitter.
Yeah. Maybe it was all part of the
What a man, what an egghead.
What an egg. That scrambled egg. That's what's going on in that egg. It's all scrambled.
I still remember when he in the Europa League and he deployed Mazraoui as the number 10. I was like, I was actually so half asleep because I think we did a pod that day, like the before the game started. And I was watching the game and I was like going, oh, that's weird. And then at halftime they showed the lineup. So I was like, what? Mazraoui's actually on the field? I was like, where is he? But he was playing in the number 10 position. What was he doing there?
Oh,
he is the biggest sandal, 100%, man. Oh, yeah. Biggest scandal, 100%, biggest scandal. The funny thing is that I don't know if you watched that show. What's that show called? The mic'd up show where they discuss the VAR decisions. And Howard Webb came out and said that penalty that cost him his job was never a penalty. They actually showed like the audio on the mic about the penalty, and David Cook's like going, is that the only angle we've got? And Mike Waller was like, yeah, it's contact or whatever. Just the biggest bullshit you've ever seen in your life. And no one's questioning Mike Waller. If that dude is not the biggest Liverpool fan going, then I don't know who is. He's either bought by Man City or he's paid by Liverpool. It's one of the two. He's a corrupt ref. But I thought it was funny. Then there was a video of him basically just saying that Jurgen Klopp. So
okay.
What a man.
What a guy. I don't know. His decision making was definitely a bit skewed.
And then apparently there was another video that the Sun. You can never trust what the Sun waffle because they just come up with shit that's not true most of the time. But apparently there was a video of him doing a line of the cocaine.
The thing is, the guy, I felt, I do really feel for the guy because he's probably in a really bad place mentally at the moment with everything that's going on. You could see, like, from the first video when he's talking, like, he's clearly off his head. And then it's no surprise for him to do that. Like, he just needs to take some time out, But it just goes to show, doesn't it? It goes to show, we're human beings. And at the end of the day, people will have, maybe it's not based upon what team he supports, but it's based upon his interactions he has with managers. And if someone's a real arsehole to him, then he's just going to, when a decision comes, he might not go with that person. He might go with the other one. So
that's it.
Which you should do. As a ref, you should be impartial.
Yep. I'm ref. I'm very impartial.
That's why you need VAR. That's why you need VAR, because VAR has no emotions.
Except when it's Michael Oliver and he wants to give a penalty.
Yeah.
All right, the refereeing this season's been jokes. It's been well funny. But yeah, look, because I don't think I've actually talked to you since Erik ten Hag got sacked.
I don't think so. It's been ages.
I can't believe how good it's been, man. I actually feel excited for the season now. I know we're like 12 games in now almost, but there is rays of hope. Now, just for everyone that is wondering why there is rays of hope, I will show you why there is rays of hope. So if we go to the table here, and let's be honest, Man United have been unbelievably crap. Let's be honest, for a long time. I mean, Crystal Palace are pretty crap. They're an 18th, Alan. Ever since you started supporting them, they've gone down the shitter. They're now in the relegation. What's going on?
All right. Well, do you know what? Maybe I have to whip out my Chelsea shirt again. They've had injuries and bits and pieces. They'll be good. They'll come good. Don't you worry about that.
So this is a really interesting stat for you. So Chelsea and Arsenal are tied in third on 19 points. 19 points, right? And you could arguably say Chelsea have looked pretty decent. Guess how many points Manchester United are now behind third spot? 4 points. That's all it is. Man United are rearing back to life like the phoenix that's coming.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what's your prediction then? Where are they going to finish?
I actually think, I don't think we're going to finish top four. I'm not that optimistic. However, if he does get on a run and he can actually implement his style that he has been doing at Sporting Lisbon, I think you'll see Man United rocket right into calculations for the top four. I don't know if he'll be able to do it, but I think that under him, they'll definitely win the Europa League. And if they win the Europa League, they're back in the Champions League.
Yeah.
I think that's a successful season. I'd stuff the FA Cup, stuff the League Cup. Yes, they're nice days, but when a manager just wants to trot about, I won 2 trophies while I'm shit in the league, like Erik ten Hag, then you can piss off back to Dutch Holland. I'm in fine form tonight, mate. I'm up and about.
You're on one tonight. I mean, I think that Man United are a big club and they deserve really, to be up in that top 4, 5. But they've just been really let down by their management. They have. And actually their owners. So it would be good to see Man United coming back to life. It's good to see Chelsea coming back to life, especially after all the Reddies that have been pumped into them. Because look, it's boring, isn't it? It's boring just the same old stuff over and over again. You want to mix it up. Like, it's fantastic seeing Ipswich turn over Tottenham and, watching what's happening at Forest and all this, because it's good.
That's it.
Come on, Palace, though. We need Palace to pull their finger out.
Who are you going to captain this week? Now, I want to talk about captain choices. I know it's a bit far away and we still got to hear about the news conferences and how people come back. Now, Mo Salah has had the international break off. He has been enjoying life this last week, resting up in preparation for the very hard trip to Southampton away.
I think you just answered my question. You answered your own question. I mean, Southampton is probably the fixture to target most weeks. So, yeah, captain in Salah.
But, hear me out. On the other hand, we have one rested Cole Palmer travelling away to Leicester, who got spanked again by Man United. So if Man United are scoring 3 goals against Leicester, what is Cole Palmer capable of doing against Leicester?
Well, seeing as I don't have Palmer in my team at the moment,
That's unlucky.
that means, that's why I won't be captaining him. But I am going to try and get him in. So I think I'd still probably go with Salah. I think he's in a good run of form at the moment. Do you think Palmer's? Do you think he's still struggling with a bit of injury or not? Do you think he's all good for that knock?
Oh no, he'll be fine. It was just a knock. I mean, like, that was the biggest overblown pile of nonsense I've ever seen in my life. But the fact with Cole Palmer is this season, most of his points have actually come away from home, which is why potentially he's a better choice than Mo Salah. Now, have a look at his results this season. So obviously he had the massive one against Brighton at home, which was 25 points. He had the one against Newcastle at home, which was 10. But then all his other things that he's returned in, other than the Nottingham Forest game, which was also at home. Against West Ham, he scored, and that was away. He got an assist against Crystal Palace, that was at home. Wolves obviously had that 3 assists and 1 goal, and that was an away game as well. So he seems to feast on the shit teams.
Right.
He's a feaster. But then I look at Mo Salah, and this dude, this season is just... He's just so good. He's only blanked in 2 games. He's blanked against Nottingham Forest when they lost, obviously, in the one game they lost. That was at home. And the other game that he blanked in was the Crystal Palace away game, where he only got 3 points. He still got a clean sheet point, but...
I think this could be a big week for me. I mean, I think you could even go on a real differential. What about captaining Garnacho? I mean... Do you think he would get 4 minutes, or do you think he's only going to get like the second half?
See, this is the thing. I was trying to work out. So, like, I've been obviously a Man United fan. I've been trying to work out in my head how the 3-4-3 and the players fit into the system. So this is what I've got in my head. This is what I think he'll do. I think Annan will be in goal. I think that's pretty confident in saying that. Can't see Tom Heaton coming out of retirement to take his spot. But, I think he'll be staying as the 3rd choice keeper. I think Anana's a locked in, nailed on option there. Then I think Lenny Yoro, if he's fit, will be in the back 3 because he's quick, and I think he looks good, and I reckon that's probably why they bought him, because he's not a Ten Hag player. Then they got De Ligt. I actually think De Ligt in the back 3 will look really good, and Lissandro Martinez picks himself, I think, in the back 3 as well. So that's the back 3. Then we get into the wing backs in the midfield. So Ugarte already played for Amarin, for Sporting Lisbon. He's 100% starting in the middle of the team. And if Kobbie Mainoo's fit, I expect Mainoo to start there as well. If he's not fit, I'd imagine it's going to be probably Casemiro. Then on the left and right wing backs, this is where it gets interesting, because this will definitely affect how people go in FPL. Now, you would think that the right wing back spot would be between Diego Dalot and Mazraoui. And who the hell he picks there in that spot, I actually don't know. He could even go left wing and put Ahmad at the right wing back spot. I'm not sure. But I think it will be either Dalot or Mazraoui. And whoever doesn't get a nod here, I think is just completely stiff. But the problem is I actually think that Mazraoui's probably got the best form, but I think I prefer Dalot in an attacking sense. So I'm not sure what he's going to do with, but the first game against Ipswich is going to be very telling as to who he prefers for that spot. Because I think they'll start there, and they'll start there for a while, unless they get injured. On the left-hand side, Luke Shaw's apparently returned from injury for the 50th millionth time, but he'll probably only last a game. So whether he decides to go with Luke Shaw or not, I mean, he's probably the most suited to that, but maybe Anthony comes out of the woodwork and starts playing there. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they'll employ me to come over when I'm there and put me in at left wing back. I've got an amazing left foot.
The only thing you're going to be left back on is left back on the bus. Go back to London. That's it.
So, look, I don't actually know. It's the honest answer with the left wing back. But I think Kobbie and then I think you've got, in my head, it's either Rasmus Højlund starting up top or it's Marcus Rashford. Now, I could see a lot of people go, Marcus Rashford, really? Are we still going to keep persisting with this idiot?
What do you think about Rashford at the moment? Do you think he might leave the club?
I think he probably needs to leave the club.
Where do you think he should go? Palace?
Okay, brilliant. Lock on the computer. Nice. Yeah, I don't know. He looks, I don't know, is the honest answer. Like, he just looks lazy when he's not got the ball. But I still think he's a better finisher than Rasmus Højlund. And Joshua Zirkzee is the biggest waste of a signing I've ever seen in my life. The dude is too slow for the Premier League. The reason why he looked good in Italy is because it's a slow league. He's come here and he just looks nowhere near it. And I've already seen enough. I'm not surprised that there's already reports saying they want to get rid of him because he didn't look suited to the EPL. So I don't think he's a lot. So it's either Rasmus Højlund and Marcus Rashford at the top. I don't know which one he'll go with. I wouldn't be surprised if he started with Rashford and then went with Højlund, or if he went with Højlund and then went with Rashford. It's either one of those two. And then Bruno Fernandes is definitely locked in as one of those two inside attacking wings or whatever you want to call it. And I think they'll be brilliant. I think Bruno Fernandes' numbers in terms of goals and assists is going to go through the roof under Amarin. I think he's just going to be playing that in the position that's going to really help him. And then I don't know who the other spot is. In my mind, it should be Ahmad. Ahmad has all the qualities needed to play in that other number 10 position. He's good on the ball. He's got great ball control. He's a great dribbler. He's obviously got chances created. And I think that the idea behind an Amarin team is everyone creates chances for the forward to score. So if it's Rasmus Højlund, he's going to start scoring goals. If he's capable of scoring goals, he'll score goals in an Amarin team. Or if it's Marcus Rashford, he'll also be scoring goals. Whoever's playing in that position, I actually think will be a perfect FPL asset. The only problem is I can't tell you with any confidence which one it's going to be at the moment.
Right.
That's my assessment.
Well, that was
Ahmed's
great.
Brilliant, man. I'm massively on Ahmed. Like if I play the Haaland wildcard draft, Ahmed is 100% locked in this team. Like I've actually lost it because I had refreshed my page. But Haaland was in with Ahmad in the team. So I think he's brilliant. I think for 4.9 million, that dude is going to score a lot of points. I wouldn't be surprised if he finished top 50 midfielders this season. Going to call.
Do you know what? I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you on it.
He's in my differential video. If you haven't checked out my differential video, I put out yesterday. Yes, yesterday. It's in there. I've got a big spot on Ahmad. I think he's a brilliant differential. Not many people own him. I also like Matt O'Reilly. Now, do you know who that is, Alan? Matt O'Reilly.
Who's that?
He's a bloke from Brighton that they bought in the summer. Got injured before pretty much anything. Then he came on against Manchester City, like what's his name did, João Pedro. And in 33 minutes, he got a goal and 2 bonus points. He got 8 points against Man City on his debut in 33 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty good start.
Was that a fluke? Was that a fluke or?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. Well, they signed him for quite a lot of money. This dude is the definition of differential. 0.1% ownership. I don't mind it. 5.5 is a good enabler.
I mean, look, for a wild card, definitely.
I mean, you could have him as a midfielder 5. Just rotate him on and off. If he starts popping off, you're loving it because he's going to rise in price and get your team value. So, I mean, I'm quite blessed. My team value from game week 11, at the end of game week 11, was 103.9 million. What's yours?
All right. Well, my team value going up.
Yeah, what is it at the moment?
Right, my team value is shocking. My team value is where do I see it then? Where's the total? I'm on my phone. Do you need to be on the computer?
No, so if you're on your phone, you need to go to, hold on, I'll just quickly try and work this out myself. Let's have a look. So on your phone, you need to go to the fantasy tab.
Yeah.
I thought you'd like that one. You go to the fantasy tab, go to your phone, and then if you click on the top, so where it says your team name.
Oh, yeah.
Click on that, and it should show you what your overall points is and what your team value is.
We won't talk about the overall points, but my team value, my overall points is 594. Shocking. But my team
98
value is
points in front of you.
Yeah, I know. That's Haaland, mate. That's Haaland's hat tricks. 100 million.7.
Okay, not bad.
What's yours?
103.9. Like after I spend all my money in my bank this game week, and with the price rises, I'm hopefully going to catch as well. It should soar over 104 mil. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But that's because I've just been ditching players. I've like used transfers every week, just trying to build team value essentially, and try and bring in players that are going to score points. So like, there's been a tactic to the madness, because at some point I actually think that if I play my cards right, I'll actually be able to afford a draft where I've got 4 premium midfielders and Haaland. If I keep building my money, by the end of the season, I should make 110 mil.
Yeah,
that'd be very impressive. If I could do that, that'd be a feat in itself.
I mean, that would be very impressive. That would be very impressive, because it just helps you out, doesn't it? At the end, you can just bring in all the people, bring in the people. But I like the strategy.
That's why I like these
years, Harriet.
I haven't done that long. I did it a year before Alan did. Everyone, Alan always reckons I'm the pro. I've barely played fantasy for 5 years, if that.
Really?
Yeah. I played it the season before I came to you. I'll tell you a secret. I thought that the free hit was the wild card in my first season. And I played my free hit thinking it was the wild card. I was like going, I had 1 brilliant week, right? And 1 brilliant week. I've got like 100 points or something. It was like it would have been the perfect wild card draft if I'd actually pressed the right button. And then the next week when I went to do my team, I was like went to pick team. I was like, why the hell have I got all these flogs back in it that were any of the week before? And then I realized, and the problem is that I had really no idea how the game was played. So I sat there and then I was like, well, I want that team back. So I used a free hit, and then I used the wild card to literally buy the same team. That was just stupidity.
When I first played FPL, I was camping with my mate Paul, and I'd done my first team, and I'd never done it before. And all I chose was really England players, because I didn't really know any of the other players. And I put it all in and got like hardly any points. I went to Darius. I was like, "Here, can you just fix this for me?" And he was like, "Yeah, here you go, mate." And he just went and just changed it all up. And then I started getting into it. I started watching the videos of that guy, Andy.
Yeah. And
I started getting more into it. Yeah, but I love it. Though it's a great game. Great game. Bad for mental health, but a great game.
Oh, yeah. I still remember when you sat there and I was like looking at your team. I was like, Alan, mate, just give me your phone.
Yeah, just give us a
I was like, what are these players?
I know. Well, I just chose people like Pickford and like Kane and just like people I knew. Like.
So in the leagues, so I want to talk about this. So I wanted to call it FPL out here because they have banned someone's team for the season because of this name. And you mentioning Jordan Pickford has just made me remember what it is. So in here, you see how it's got deleted and deleted player?
Mm. Yeah.
That bloke is my friend Patrick Longer. Shout out to him. He's newly subscribed to the channel as well. So if you are new, do make sure you do that. His team was actually called Cotton Pickfords.
Cotton Pick. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So apparently they sent his so FPL after like weeks, like this is into week 3 of the season or whatever, and like you know how it says like change name or like a pending moderation or bollocks like that in your names.
Right.
So he got an email at like 3 a.m. in the morning when he was asleep, basically saying change name requested, like and then literally 5 minutes later they sent another email and said your team has been deleted for the season because he called it Cotton Pickfords.
I mean, you know, it might cause some offence to some people, you know.
How does that cause any offence to anyone? There's a Pickford made of cotton.
I think we'll talk after the pod. We'll talk after.
Am I missing it? Well, let me know in the comments if I have completely missed on what that's meant to be about.
I think you might be, yeah. But
I had no offense. I would have been like, yeah, fair game, play on.
Well, I can see the bit that I can see where it may cause offence. Yeah. Right. So moving on. What do you think? What do you think that I should do to try and get Palmer into my team?
All right, I'll have a look at your team in a second, but I want to point out one real quick thing here. So you know how in the standings, right, in the week-to-week league, the person at the bottom, oh, sorry, they're not at the bottom anymore because they beat you.
What?
So you lost to Grace Patrick, that fool that's been taking minuses. How did you lose? She smoked you, mate, for 67 points. She covered you easy.
Well, yeah, because she just does a wild card every week. Who is Grace?
Hey, Christian, how are you, buddy? Yeah. So look, yeah. So I actually, in fairness, I actually caught up with her at an event. We were DJing, and I saw Grace. She was there, and I said, Grace, give me your team. Let me help you out because you keep on taking minuses and your team's going nowhere. She listened to some of my inclusions, and she obviously picked Mo Salah as captain, and she brought in Jordan Pickford in goal, who got 11 points.
Oh, well, there you go. That's why she smoked me. Then she captained Salah and brought in Pickford. Well, thanks for helping there, Darius.
Yep, all good. So, Clint Eastwood. I like that one. That's pretty good band name, Clint Eastwood. This pod's descending into chaos. I'm loving it. This is brilliant. Keep the comments coming. Fuchs Aki. That's brilliant. Black Lives Matter. Oh, mate, some of these are... Yeah, you're right. I can see why some of these are banned. But I just don't get the Cotton Pickfords one. I really want to know what Cotton Pickfords means. All right, let's move on from that. So back to Alan's team. Where are we? So let's go back to where we were. I've completely lost my train of thought now. Alan's team. All right, how much money you got in the bank, Alan?
0.2.
0.2.
You're going to say I have to get rid of Haaland, don't you?
0.2. And Cole Palmer cost 10.9, eh?
I think I might have 2 free transfers.
He cost 10.9. You're not getting him in without selling Haaland. With your team value. It's not possible. You'd have to make 3 transfers to do it. You'd have to drop like Nicholas Jackson, 7.9. You drop him down to João Pedro. That's 2.5. And how much money did you say in the bank? 0.2. So that's 2.7.
Yeah.
2.7. You need to dump Raya for like Verbruggen. They'll give you 3.7. Then you could change Brian and Buemo potentially to Cole Palmer, but that would be a stretch and that would require 3 transfers. Or you ditch Haaland for João Pedro and then you change out Morgan Rogers to Cole Palmer.
Yeah. The thing is, I know exactly what's going to happen as soon as I dump Haaland. He's going to go like 2 weeks, hat-trick, and I'll bring him back in. He'll do nothing for another couple of weeks. This is just the way FPL works.
Yeah.
I'm keeping him. I'm staying. I'm keeping him.
Yeah, so this is the problem. Like, in the Haaland draft, so everyone that was wondering, like when I did the Haaland draft, I'll just quickly do it here to show you how I got him in. So all these cheap blokes I will have to nick off. So Verbruggen goes in here, and then, that's Ahmad becomes that. I actually think a player that might get a run in, and keep an eye on this because everyone's talking about the left wing back for Man United. Harry Amass, Ruben Amorim doesn't mind playing young players. I think Harry Amass at 4 million might actually get a look in under Ruben Amorim. If he does, he could be an option, but he's not an option at the moment. But I believe that Harry Amass will get starting, and he might be the left wing back moving forward. But Ahmad goes in there. Isak comes out. Haaland comes in. Where are we? And then in the defence, far out its budget, it was O'Shea. Whoops. Like, how good's O'Shea? Like, just reminds me of Johnny O'Shea. What an absolute trooper that bloke was. Oh, I've done something wrong here because this isn't quite adding up. Oh, hold on. Chris Wood's not there. I was like, everyone that is wondering, Chris Wood, the Woody Woodpecker, his run is over in my team. He has been brilliant. He's probably going to burn me now that I'm getting rid of him, but he's got to go. All right, and Veltman. So that's the Haaland draft. Like, the only problem I don't like with this is that to make money, I literally have to rely on my players to gain team value for me so I can sell them. Like, there's nowhere really for me to go from here. Like, if João Pedro gets injured or whatever, I'm stuffed because I've got no money to do anything with him. So, like, that's my only problem with the Haaland draft. It looks great on paper. Don't get me wrong. There's captain choices there every week nailed on between Cole Palmer, Mo Salah, Erling Haaland, and potentially Bruno Fernandes, depending on how Man United get started under Amarin. But you are leaving your defence significantly weaker. It's just a weighing up. Like, how much do you rate defence this year? I'm not sure.
More midfield year, isn't it? Last year was a defence.
Well, last year, I feel like last year we had the Anthony Gordon was like 5 mil. Cole Palmer was 5.5. Like, last year it was so easy to fit in Erling Haaland, Mo Salah, because you had two gun midfielders for like basement prices.
Yeah.
This year it's so much harder because they all cost so much more money.
Do you remember the good old days when it was like Chilwell and Reece James and all these like wingers, like they're whatever they're called, wing backs, that were just like getting all these goals, all these defenders?
Yeah,
that was like 2020 maybe.
And since then they've been in and out of the treatment room together.
Them two, like, I don't know what happened. Them two are just injuries, man.
All injuries, man. All injuries. It's well bad. Oh man! I'd say, look,
it's very chesty, Darius. Very chesty.
Yeah, obviously I went to Singapore. Like, I haven't actually been well for like 2 weeks probably. So I went to Singapore, and I went there and I had like the sorest back, man. Like, I woke up and it felt like something was like stabbing my back. Like, I had like nerve damage or a pinched nerve or something. It was horrible. And then I got sick while I was there. So then I went to camp and I was like sleep deprived because we had to get up to catch the flight at like 6 a.m. in the morning from Singapore back to Australia so I could make the camp train when it got in from Kalgoorlie at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I had like 2 hours sleep at best because obviously I went out and watched the Man United Leicester game at the pub in Singapore and got absolutely shit-faced and enjoyed. I knew it was going to be Ruud van Nistelrooy's last game. I was like, man, that dude looks sexy on the touchline. He's a very good-looking man.
What?
No, it's just Ruud van Nistelrooy, man. He looks like me. What can I say? It's like admiring myself on the touchline at Old Trafford. I only got to do that 4 times. Yeah. So that's So that's what happened. Then I went to school camp, came back, and then I've still got this cough. So I've been taking a little bit of like cough medicine, but hoping for the best.
Yeah, I'm a bit chesty myself. So what a pair! What an
now,
pair.
What are you doing next Saturday?
What, during the day?
This time? No, before this time. It would be 7, 11. What are you doing at 9:30 your time Saturday morning next week?
So, I do have a beer mile, a Bermondsey beer mile, which I'm meant to be doing. But I'm sure that I could fit something in. I was planning to go to a driving range and then to go visit my aunt, but we could do something tomorrow morning. On Saturday morning at 9:30 if you want.
Deadline day stream, Saturday morning as I lock in the wildcard draft. Lock it in. Put it in your diary.
Right. We'll do that then. We'll lock it in. I'll be on it.
Brilliant. All right, guys. Well, that is going to bring us to the end of today's show. It's been a bumper show. We've been waffling on pretty much shit talking for about an hour and 15 minutes. So if you've stuck with us through the journey and like it looks like quite a few people have actually watched the entire thing, Alan, which is a miracle in and of itself because I didn't think it was that entertaining, but hopefully the masses have enjoyed it. And if you are new, please make sure you like the button before you nick off and press the subscribe button as well if you haven't already done that. And we will catch you again for a deadline stream next Saturday. Till then, Alan, have a good week at work, and hopefully we're both feeling better by then.
Perfect. Yeah, you too, Darius. See you later.